Do we have to clap to start?
Yes. What? Bit more gusto.
That's what the pros do.
Yeah, okay. We'll get a clapper board.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, welcome back.
Welcome back to our rambles. How long has it been?
A while.
Mm.
A real while, which
It was
a
before the
couple
summer,
of
wasn't
the
it?
listeners have highlighted.
Before the summer.
Before the summer.
We got good reason. We had a busy summer, didn't we?
Yeah.
New projects.
New projects.
Travelling.
Went over to America, travelled around Tennessee, down
Alabama.
Georgia, Alabama, Florida. New Orleans.
New Orleans.
That was great.
Had a wonderful time, didn't we?
We did. Little working holiday.
Yeah, which is good. And we're back.
Yeah, now back.
And we're going to take you a run up to Christmas.
Yeah.
With some new episodes.
Yes, new episodes, new content, lots of different thoughts, feelings, theories. Oh, that's nice.
And general ramblings.
Because that's what we're good at.
So welcome back if you've listened before.
Yeah.
And if you've not,
welcome.
This is our space to talk about coaching related topics, how we've implemented them, how they've affected our lives, how they've helped your clients, etc. So,
and a bit of how they turn up in real life as well, in our day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we get loads of questions about what it's like to work together.
Yeah.
So we talk about that a bit as well, which is good. So again, if you have any questions, reach out. We love hearing them, hearing your thoughts, what you found interesting, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, so this week, these are unscripted, by the way, as you can tell, but we do pick a topic.
Yes, we do pick a topic. And I was thinking about this and I didn't tell you because I thought, I'll see if I can segue this in nicely, but...
Stylish.
Thanks. Week before last, we were away in Spain on holiday. We took Bella away, my stepdaughter, Liam's daughter, and we went to Spain to stay on a ranch to do some horse riding. Now, again, if any of you read my newsletter or listen to me harp on about anything, you will know that this was a really good How Can I Be Step Parent of the Year attempt, because Bella took an interest in horse riding.
Yep.
So I was like, this is going to be fantastic. Really good idea.
You did come home very excited.
Really excited. Booked it. This is going to be great. We'll all go away. We'll spend time on this ranch. Amazing. Fast forward a couple of months before we're going, and Bella didn't enjoy horse riding as much anymore.
Well, she fell off twice.
That definitely put her off, as it would me.
It put me off as well.
It put us all off massively. So we're all now going on this holiday, horse riding in the middle of nowhere with a family where none of us actually horse ride.
Just to explain, we were living on the ranch with the family. So we were fully immersed in this horse riding world, right?
And at that point, none of us, I don't like horses. You had been a couple of times and okay.
When I was a kid, yeah.
Yeah, and Bella was not a massive fan either. So that was really, really good. Really good planning. Really proud of myself for that one. Could have been an absolute nightmare. Which, fast forward, it was absolutely fantastic. We all had an absolutely brilliant time. But I was thinking about this in terms of our topic. So we wanted to talk about today a bit of naivety and how being naive is not a bad thing. Not having all the information is not a bad thing.
Yeah, and how I think it's nearly impossible to be naive at times now.
Yeah.
And I think that's holding people back.
Which is where my little segue in was, I think that is why I struggled so much with the concept of going horse riding, because I love to know what's going on, how to do things, all the information, what will it be like, how can I control the situation? I wanted to know, that's why I wanted to have lessons before, because you didn't need to. It was very open to complete beginners, to people who hadn't ridden before. But the concept of going somewhere and not having the manual, the instructions, the reins, as we'll call it, not knowing the reins. Do you like that one?
Yeah, good.
Thanks. That was terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And I was thinking about it when we're talking about approaching things with naivety and not actually knowing.
Yeah.
That was 100% what caused me the fear going into this experience.
Okay, so before we go into that, let's clarify what it is we're actually talking about.
Yeah.
I'll try and articulate my interpretation. So I was trying to think, how do you even title this? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not naivety. It's a deeper concept than that. So I'll try and explain it, and then you can try and explain it from your side and see what fits. So I get the question all the time of, what advice would you give to somebody who's starting out in business?
Okay.
Okay. And my instant reaction is this or this or this or all these little things. And then a few months ago, I was doing a podcast, and I took a step back and was like, hang on. The reason that I started out and did what I did was because I didn't know any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So if someone said, oh, you need to get an accountant, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to make sure your accounts are here and this system's over here, I just cracked on with what I was doing, and that snowballed and resulted in where it was. But I think if everyone would have told me all of the potential problems or pitfalls at that point, well, I would have been crazy to have done it. So, and I think now we live in a world where you can't escape the advice.
Yeah.
And it's so easily accessible that even if we said now we're going to go horse riding, well, you go online and you look for horse riding tips or how to do this or whatever, and then you find 10 different reasons why you should do, 10 different reasons why you shouldn't, 10 good things, 10 bad things. And then you're stuck in this kind of mode of like, you've got all this information, but what do you do with it?
Yeah.
So I think when I look back, the reason that I ended up doing what I did was through naivety of not knowing. So it was more like you didn't know the good, but you also didn't know the bad. So you just kind of cracked on. And I wish that for more people to have that, because I think that gives you more opportunity, because you're going to take the first step, which leads to the second and third and fourth.
Yeah.
So the topic of this conversation was around naivety, but how I think we've lost a lot of it because we've got access to so much information. There's so many bits of advice. There's so much input, so much noise, that how do you filter that out and, focus on what's in front of you?
And I think to add on to that, as you're speaking there, I'm thinking, well, there's a whole new category in Waterstones for self-development and how to, that book series, The Dummy's Guide to Everything. It's almost like we have to have, before you pass go, before you can even get on the board, you have to have done all the research, have all the knowledge. And once you've got all the knowledge, then and only then, when you are sure that you can get to the outcome, then you can give it a go.
Yeah.
Then you can try. It's like we're losing the art of curiosity and the art of trying. But then then you only have to go on Instagram or any other platform and it's people selling how to achieve this. So no longer do you just try. It was interesting because I was thinking about this today as I was driving in, and I was thinking about, I really want to get back into writing. I thought I should look at buying a book on how to write a book. And I thought, and there's the problem.
Yeah.
No, we're almost trying to find the how to. Give me the step-by-step, give me the blueprint to achieve this creative thing.
But also, not just that, if you Googled, how do I write a book and get it published, I guarantee all you will find is all the reasons why your book will never make any money, and all the reasons as to why you'll never get it published, and all the reasons as to why the book industry is a scam, etc. Whereas the people that just go, I'm going to write a book and write it, are probably the ones that get it sold and published. So again, it's that concept.
Well, because you'd never start. If I've read all of that, I'm going, you know what? I'll do it next week.
Yeah, why would you? So, and that's the bit I'm getting at. And we've done this with trips where, the classic is, let's say you book a hotel and then you look at the reviews.
Yeah.
And you see that there's a couple of negative reviews. And it's like, as humans, we're preconditioned to look for the risk.
Oh, without a doubt.
The risk is now,
our brains are programmed to keep us safe. So, of course, you're going to try and find the risk.
Yeah. So now, but the risk is now available. Yeah. So whatever it is, if it was like whether you should drive to work today, and you start Googling and all of a sudden you're seeing about all the car accidents or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and then it introduces that little doubt or fear, and then that snowballs, etc. So I think there's too much noise and information out there that it's really hard to filter sometimes. So I don't envy people. Going back to the original bit of what I was talking about, was I don't envy people that are starting out now, because that advice it used to just come from the people around you, parents or siblings or whatever.
Because they want to keep you safe.
Yeah.
Because their vested interest is your safety. And if they cannot guarantee, because they maybe haven't done it themselves before, you're going to say to a parent or a friend or someone who really cares about you, I'm thinking of starting this business. Well, they've never done that before. They can see the risks associated. They stayed in, let's say, maybe employment. They were safe. They had the salary. They got the mortgage, the 2.5 kids. They've had this safe life. So they can guarantee to a degree that that is safe. You're saying, I'm going to do this thing that's over here that they've got no concept of. So naturally, they're going to go, I wouldn't. I'd pull you back because they want the best for you. It's done with 9 times out of 10, it's done with a good intention. They want you to do well. They can't guarantee safety if you go down this path that they know nothing about.
Yeah. And I want to just pick up on a little what you said there. I don't think safety is necessarily just what you described there. I think that people that are in my position fall into the trap. So, and I did, to be fair, in the early days. So if someone said, how would you start a business? Well, I'd say, well, you do this, this and this, because that's the path that I followed that worked.
Yes. Yeah.
So, whether that's as someone that's had a business and been self-employed or been employed or whatever it is, whatever that person's experience is the advice that they will offer you, even though your situation could be wildly different.
Yeah.
And it is safety, but it's their safety that they're trying to pass over. So it's not safety in the traditional sense of a job is safe and self-employment isn't. It's more that, because I guarantee if you spoke to someone that had a business for 20, 30 years, they'd be like, yeah, absolutely, work for yourself.
Yeah, without a doubt. Because
their path
was
their safety.
Yeah.
That's it. Because again, you sort of bundle all of that, all them situations, timing, world events, etc.
Yeah, resources. Opportunity.
Yeah. And sort of assume that person can do the same thing, which I think is and we spoke about this. There's some very famous entrepreneurs that say the opposite of what they actually did.
Yeah.
But I think they believe that what they're saying is right, because they're taking a moment in time, they're zooming out, taking this 10-year career and going, yeah, of course I went home every night and had dinner with the family. And everyone's looking at them going, no, we know for the first 6-7 years you were not doing that.
Grinding.
Yeah. So I think there's so much, and it is hard because there's a simplicity in that question of how should I do X? And that person goes, well, here's a one-liner of how to do it. Which should I go horse riding? Oh yeah, of course. Just make sure when you're on the horse, you do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. Then someone else says, do this. And before you know it.
Exactly happened. And then all that happens is I've got 5 people telling me 5 different things. And all that's done is highlighted how little I know. So then I'm going to go, do you know what? I don't want to go because I don't know the information.
Right.
There's too much. There's too much going on. And I think that's paralysis, isn't it? It's optional paralysis, analysis paralysis. Yeah. It's the idea of everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
Everyone has a way of doing things because they've all got different experiences. And you ask them and you think, oh, let me find this one-size-fits-all approach. There isn't a one-size-fits-all. There's a one-size-fitted-me approach. We throw that on and then you go, do you know what? Oh, God, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Because you can't see your pathway. Well, of course you can't. Because you've been given everyone else's pathway.
Yeah.
You can't carve your own. Yeah. And it's done through, I'd like to think it was done through well-being and well-meaning, but it throws us.
Yeah, it's not
malicious.
It's not malicious at all, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so getting off our soapboxes on that.
Yeah, I think it's just an interesting.
No, I agree. Yeah, I've had a good rant about this to a few people. So
ranting?
No, doesn't sound right.
Do you rant?
Not really. No.
Wild that.
What can people do? Because I haven't got the answer to this question yet. If I'm honest, I think what can people do to not drown out the noise, but. And I think both, actually on reflection, this is both an advisor and an advisee. Is that the right phrase? This is for both people, really. So if someone, is asking for your advice, I think we are too quick to give it sometimes, as in it's too simplistic. But also the person receiving that advice, how do you filter out what you should listen to and what you shouldn't?
I'm going to go one step back.
Yep.
And I'm going to start with, what are you looking for? Because you're asking for advice because there is usually a fear. There's something you're fearful of. So I'm then going to ask for somebody's advice on that, usually, or potentially. So if I'm starting a business or if I'm looking at pushing out of my comfort zone full stop and I'm asking for somebody's advice, it's because there is something that is the unknown, which usually generates that feeling of fear because we want to feel safe, we want to have the resources. So I would just go back a step and go, what is it that I am fearful of?
Okay.
Then I'd worst case scenario that and go, okay, so this is what I'm fearful of. What is the worst case scenario? What is the worst case scenario? And see if you can challenge that and go, well, if this happened, how would I, just me, not saying we're not going to utilize resources, but just strip it back before we move forward. What is the worst case scenario and how could I handle it? Is it real? So I'm going to have to give you an example because it's an easy one to go back to, public speaking.
Okay.
Public speaking. A lot of people who struggle with public speaking and presenting, when I ask them about their upbringing, about their background, this morning, I was working with a group of people. First question, hands up if you are not a massive fan of public speaking. Okay, let's say 10 people straight up. Okay, can you keep your hand up if you would have identified yourself, and it's not an ego thing and it's not the big I am, but on paper, keep your hand up if you identify as a high performer or someone who studied a lot and got good grades at school. Most people keep their hands up. There's the problem. We have got a set of people there who got I fell into this category 100%. I studied hard. I had all the information on the textbook. I didn't learn it. It was a memory game. I went into the exam because I had all the information. I wrote the exam paper down, left the exam hall, forgot most of it, but I did well because I had all the information.
Right.
So now we've got people that want to go into these situations where they're used to doing well because they had all the information. They were successful in an exam situation because they revised, they had all the information. Do you feel prepared? Yes. Have you got everything ready? Yes. Have you put the work in? Yes. Here we go. I've got all the things I need to make this puzzle.
That's interesting.
So then they go into try and public speak or present.
Yeah.
You can't control that environment. What if someone asks a difficult question? You can't control how your audience are going to feel. There's so many uncontrollables that the brain goes, I cannot guarantee a positive outcome, quote unquote, positive outcome.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen. So going into business, starting a new venture, moving forward, pushing out of your comfort zone, your brain can't guarantee what's going to happen. Now, if you are someone who's always been in control and as much as possible of the outcome, it makes total sense that you are going to get a massive fear response. So before you even start looking to other people to soothe that, what would you do? How would I, to get the answers, to put yourself back in control? There are going to be so many situations where you're not going to be in control. So I'd say start right at the beginning and go, okay, what am I scared of? Well, I'm scared of somebody asking me a question and me not knowing the answer. That's my fear. Okay. If that happens, what is the worst case scenario? How could you deal with it? Well, I could do this. I could do this. The worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, I stand there and I go, I don't know. Okay. And then what happens? Well, not that much. Everyone moves on with the day. Not okay. So all we're doing is we get that fear. We're bringing the fear to the forefront, and then we're saying, what would happen? Let's make it completely rational, because your brain will make it irrational. Your brain will tell you that the world will implode. Everyone will laugh at you. You'll be put on billboards around the cities with, this person is a complete fool. That's never going to happen. So what is the reality? And once the reality is not that scary, we suddenly see people go, okay, I will ask the advice, but I've also got my own experience, my own self-assurance there to take that advice and use it at my own will. It's not the be all and end all. It's a tool that you can either go, yeah, let me take that and I'll use that, or thank you so much. That tool's probably not relevant to me.
Yeah.
So it's not taking that advice and going, this is the be all and end all. It's going, thank you. I'm going to choose what suits. What suits me.
Okay, so I think that's ace, and actually it's a slightly different perspective, I think, that you're coming from in this situation. It's still advice related than I was. So my example is, so that's where you're asking for advice.
Yeah.
So there's already an uncertainty because you're asking for advice.
Yeah.
My perspective on this was slightly different. I said, right, I'm going to go out there now and cross the road. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you just whisper into my ear, do you know that people get run over? 1 in 100.
Yeah.
And then I go, oh, okay, I'm going to cross it anyway. Then I get to the door. My mum rings me and says, oh, there's been a car crash outside the house. And I go, oh. And it's just, I think that's what I was getting before. So there's the element of asking for and how to deal with that and process it. It's the same, I think it's the same technique to deal with it. But the bit that I think catches people at the moment in my world is they have a path. They say, right, I'm going to go, let's use the horse ride example. I'm going to go horse riding in 2 months.
Yeah.
And then you mention that to people and they tell you all the bad things that happen at horse riding, or they give you loads of techniques that you weren't even aware existed. So all of a sudden you've gone from this blissful naivety, which would have resulted in you turning up, riding and figuring it out, to panicking about, my brain's running a bit too fast to my mouth here. But I went for a blood test this morning. And the lady does it, Holly, she's lovely, and she said it's my fourth time going to this place, and she actually laughed and she's like, you're getting a lot better at this, because the first time that I went, I sat in the waiting room and I am thinking about the injection and thinking about the bloods being taken.
You might have to add some context for anyone listening about maybe your previous experience, maybe having blood tests or maybe an injection, what might have happened previously.
Yeah, I might have been the guy that passed out and was lay on the mat in school, but we don't. We try and suppress that.
We do, yeah.
But the bit about the context here that I'm getting at is the anticipation of the problem is always worse than the problem.
Yeah, of course.
So when people are giving you unsolicited advice, it's generally bad stuff.
Yeah.
Or things to watch out for.
Yeah.
But you've got to sort of, like you said before, there's got to be that mechanism to take in what is valuable and what isn't.
Yeah.
Because if not, you ruminate, you go from looking forward to going horse riding to ruminating on the fact that, Jan in the office's wife's best friend decided to jump off the horse one day and broke a collarbone.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking about, oh, well, I like my collarbone. Yeah. And I don't want that to happen. So, I think both have the same outcome, but I think that first one of that unsolicited advice, which I think is what's happened now. You can open Instagram. You're going to set up a business now. We say, right, we're going to set up a business. We're going to do this. You open up Instagram. I can see you look at it and go, oh God, I'm not doing that.
But why? So, and this is just to touch on that, because fear sells. So someone's going to tell you, oh, it's horrific, and then the next post,
it does.
Buy my 6-week course on how to, oh my God, I need it because you've just told me all these horrific things.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned that earlier about the unsolicited advice, Instagram is unsolicited advice followed up with a sales pitch, because you have to evoke the fear in somebody so that they will buy. God help, we felt confident and self-assured enough to do things ourselves. Yeah. No one's going to make money off that.
Yeah, that's a fair point as well. And that's what I think is so difficult at the moment, I think, for people, is that you've just got all this noise this advice being thrown at you. You can't, and again, the Instagram's a good example, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever it's called now, the whole variety of that versus even just saying to your mate in the pub, oh, we're thinking of starting this business. And then they go, oh, my brother did that. And he lost his house. And then all of a sudden you're looking at them and going,
are they all northern?
Everyone's northern.
Right, got it. Yeah,
it's just you when you put your podcast voice on.
What do you mean?
So it's such a difficult, it feels like it's so much worse now than it was when I started out, because there was less digital communication, there was less.
That's it. I think
there was less this sort of instant communication. It was more, you still got it, but you only got it from family members because they were the ones that you interacted with.
So do you think it's fair to say that before you could take a risk, and I don't like using the word failure because of the weight behind it, but you could fail and you just got back up because it wasn't all over Instagram and TikTok? And
I think that's the second layer of the cake. I think the first is do you even get to the point where you've done it? And then the second one is, if you do it now, if I would have set up business in 2008 and it failed 2 months later, nobody would even know about it. We wouldn't even make the LinkedIn profile. Well, maybe that's the point. There wasn't LinkedIn. So whereas now,
there's nothing to be excited to announce about.
yeah. Whereas now,
What would you put? I am unexcited to not announce.
Yeah. Well, that's it now. You say you're going to do something. Everyone knows about it broadly, and then that's the issue. Everyone knows what's happening. We're so interconnected. Now, I do want to flip it around a little bit and go, right, and this is where the techniques, I think, come in, because while naivety worked, and again, this is back to what we said before, while naivety worked for me at that time, right now, if you can filter the information that's available, the answer to any question is pretty much there.
Yeah.
The difficult bit now is that you're forced to put a filter in and make sure you filter it. So if, for example, you said, I'm not sure where to start with this now, but let's say you're doing the marketing for your new startup, your new business, and you go online and you see 100 different ways to do. Some say you use LinkedIn ads, use Instagram ads, use TikTok ads, put flyers, do guerrilla marketing, whatever it is. You could sit there and go, I can't do all of this.
Yeah.
And then you go, well, I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Or you find a way to filter the relevant information, either from a trust perspective of the people you're listening to.
Yes.
Which I think is a key metric, but that's getting harder to know who to trust and who's real and who's not, which is ironic because we're literally talking about this on a podcast, but very trustworthy people. Or what else do you do, I suppose?
Okay, so even when you were saying that out loud, and this is just anecdotal maybe from my personal experience and also from working with people, but straight away I'd go, okay, well, where's your evidence? So let's say you started a business and you're thinking, right, oh God, all this marketing. Okay, but you've got one client. Where did you get that client from? Well, I got them from LinkedIn. Well, there's your first start. So you have got a guaranteed fact that LinkedIn will bring you revenue or a flyer.
Without the specifics of the why, you've applied a filter. You've got a rule set that works for your filter. And I think that's evidence is for example, your filter. But for me, it might not be evidence. It might be, and it wouldn't have been for me because I remember looking back, there were some people that gave us some advice that we stuck with.
Yeah.
But it was because I trusted that person. I respected that person. I'd seen they'd walk the walk.
Yeah.
But the point is for both of us, we applied a filter in them examples to all of them. And I think that's the important bit is knowing what your filter is. So if you're an evidence and you want to see see what works, then you do a little trial and see which ones work. If you're it might be a trust or respect for somebody else, you listen to them but ignore the people that are over there. And I'm sure there's different ways of filtering that information, but I think being aware of how you filter that information is really important.
But I think this is also going to go back to the whole starting topic of that fear. Okay, what if I'm going to pick one and I'm going to go with it? And what if it doesn't work? Well, then you pick the next one.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying is it's choice, isn't it? It's the paradox of choice. You stood in the supermarket, there's 15 flavours of jam. Oh my God, which one do I pick? Well, I won't pick any. Well, no, you pick one and you take it home and it's all right. And you go, I won't bother with that one next time. And next time you get that.
But you've had to apply a filter over that instinct to just go, overwhelmed, walk away. But you've gone, no, do you know what? Take that. It's a really simple example. Take the jam and go home and have a jam sandwich. So, I think it's fascinating, and we've covered quite a range there of the naivety element, the advice element, receiving advice, and then obviously the filtering.
I think that's what I always like the phrase of success leaves clues. So I've always said, if you are thinking of doing something and you're looking at where to get your advice from, or you're looking at role models, so there's a 99.9% chance somebody has done the thing you're trying to do before. It might be in a different sector, a different...
I've done it the exact same way.
Yeah, there's a high chance that somebody has done that thing before. Yeah. Even if it's a different name, a different brand, whatever, a different product, the process is the same. Find someone successful and then work it backwards. Where did they start? What worked for them?
Yeah.
So we can start to tailor your approach. But I think that's maybe it. It's knowing that it's a framework, not a script. And I think, and again, I know we're jumping around, but the fear of failure is making people go, and public failure. And what will so-and-so think if that we're going, no, let me get a complete blueprint of what I need to do.
That's important. I think that's a nail on the head and it is deep. And you're right. You look at the success does leave clues, but they're just clues.
Yeah.
So if I looked at, let's choose another example. Let's say I looked at Elon and I said, right, I'm going to be as successful as Elon, and I tried to follow exactly what he did.
How many kids has he got, and how many?
It's unknown.
Right.
But I'm thinking about rockets and cars to start with.
Good.
Right?
Fine.
Rockets, cars,
that's
and
fine as long as we're
whatever.
Yeah.
So let's assume you took that and you followed that pattern.
Yeah.
Well, that won't work, because today, in this scenario, 10 years later, whatever it is, it's not going to happen. But you're right, there is a blueprint there of what needs to be done. So yeah, and I think that reinforces the fact that, again, if I was to sit down, Elon's a bad example of this, but let's say I sat down with a well-known Manchester business person that sold their company and said, how did you do it? What they would tell me would not be the exact way they did it. It's how they remember it, which is different because it's perspective from reality.
Yeah.
And again, if you then took that away, you're actually applying a flawed plan to a flawed time, resulting in a flawed application. So I think that's a lovely way of putting it, that it's a blueprint and not a...
everything's a guide, but you've got to approach it with curiosity. You can take nuggets of information, what works for you, what serves you. If it doesn't serve you, leave it.
Which is the filter, basically.
Yeah.
Being strong enough to know that. I suppose that filters that applies to any part of life, is that if you start to understand filtering out what's good and what's bad for you or your goals, then that'll only be a good thing.
The other thing I wanted to add as well, and you said something earlier and had a bit of a vision of it. Okay, you're down in the pub with your friends, you're saying, I'm thinking of doing this. Imagine you've got a flashlight and you've got the flashlight on yourself and you're going, okay, I'm thinking of doing this. And then someone over there said, oh, I wouldn't do that because this, that, and the other. You then turn the flashlight and everything is focused on them, their experience. And then someone else says, oh, I would also do this because suddenly this light is going further and further away, and it's no longer about your ideas. You're giving all of your power to these people and their experiences. So I would look at going, okay, you can shine the light and you can put the spotlight on them 100% and hear what they're saying, but then you've got to shine it back to you and go, okay, what am I thinking though?
Yeah.
Where am I stood? What's my perspective? How do I want to approach it? And I think it's very easy for us to go, oh, well, so-and-so said this and so-and-so. And we've given all this power that we had in our own creativity to everybody else. And we go home and we've given our agency to all these other people without going, okay, that's fine. But let me just bring it right back. What do I think though?
Yeah.
And I think we've lost that.
Yeah. And that's the bit that I think has incrementally got harder, because there's now more of them voices. Yeah. So actually, it's not, the situation probably existed. It's just that it feels overwhelming at times now with all them voices. But you're absolutely right.
And the voices are credible.
Yeah, well, yeah, they can be.
Because they, some of them are, but, Instagram, these people that are saying all of these things are probably sat on their successful businesses. So of course, your brain will naturally go, oh, well, they said that and they're up here, so I should do what they say. And there might be nuggets you can take.
Yeah.
But you can also leave some of it and go, well, why don't I try? Because every successful new business, every new product, that's the word, isn't it? New.
Yeah.
So there isn't a blueprint because it's new. No. So yes, you can take bits of it, but when you are starting out, there has to be an element of curiosity. What if? Because it's new. If you follow the blueprint for that person that they're giving you, well, you're going to create their product. There's no market for it because they've completed it. That they've got the market. So
and this will lead into another episode for sure. But even if you followed that blueprint and it worked, okay, you get there and you get 2 years down the line, and all of a sudden something goes wrong. You've never had that before.
Yeah.
So you're basically learning resilience at the wrong point. You want to learn resilience when you want to make them little failures at the start, so that you learn how you can get the evidence that you can deal with them. You don't want to do that. You don't want to have a perfect run and then go, right, we've got 1 million customers, and then everything goes wrong because you've got no evidence to prove that you could then solve that problem.
Yeah.
So, and I think resilience is something that we should talk about in the
without
future,
a doubt.
for sure.
It comes back to knowing yourself as well, because I do like the idea of, okay, well, what would this person do? I do it with you. I've said to you before, I'm a bit, what's the word? with tech, I'm not overly comfortable with tech yet because I'm fairly new to some of the technology. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? It's something new for me. And when I come up to a challenge or a hurdle, tech-wise, I can feel myself go, oh my God, I can't do it. And then my head immediately will go, people I trust, a pool of people. Okay, what would Liam do in this situation? Not that I'm then going to try and start coding, but I'd go, well, he'd calmly sit back. He'd then go, right, what's the information? Whereas me in that situation, I might go, oh my God, I don't know how to deal with this. I will go, what would Liam do in this situation? And I apply that filter onto my perspective. If you're just taking, well, I'll follow exactly what Liam did, there's none of you in there.
No, so it's not going to work.
Yeah, and you might get 2 years down the line and have this successful business, but it isn't going to feel like viscerally yours because you just puppeted something else. And you might have the cash flow and this, that, and the other, great, but that sense of ownership and pride and how is it going to feel?
Plus, when something happens outside of your control, which you will, the blueprint doesn't work for that because it was built for 10 years ago. It's not going to work. So I think that's a real solid takeaway.
Yeah, it's got to be ingrained in you. Bring that flashlight back to you.
Yeah.
What are you fearful of? What are you trying to find out? And make sure as you've succinctly put, apply the filters that suit your experience.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got an opinion. We all know that.
Yeah.
So just make sure that you're picking from the pool, the right pool, and putting that filter on.
Yeah. Well, that was good. We set a target. We've run over a little bit, but that's good. We could keep talking about this. I've got 2 new topics come out of that straight away. So
get them written down.
I will on the whiteboard.
The whiteboard, fantastic.
Yeah, that was really good. I think also just to finalize on that, I think it's difficult because you're tired, you've had a long day, then you start hearing all this stuff. I think it's just a case of you're not always going to get it right. You're not always going to filter it. Sometimes you're going to, and that's fine. But the next day you wake up and you'll be good to go again.
Yeah, and maybe people ask for help when they're in. Not always, but often people ask for advice and ask for help when they are struggling. So,
which is almost the worst time, isn't it? Because you're already in a state of
so just be aware. You're probably going to leave, and I've definitely fallen into this category before. You ask for help. Everyone gives you the best intentions and the best advice, and sometimes you can go, "Oh my God, they can all do it, and I can't." It's almost like hitting yourself when you're down. So maybe just take a moment to think. Right, I'm going to take this. I'm not going to think about it now. I'll come back fresh head tomorrow and see how I can apply this, because there's no point trying to solve a problem when you're already on your last legs of the day.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Awesome.
Right, let's go and feed some dogs because they're going to be hungry.
They are.
We'll be back next week.
We will. We'll be back next week. If you do have any comments, ideas, questions off the back of what we're chatting about,
please do.
Please let us know.
We want to know what we can expand on more. And if you haven't yet signed up for the Be Your Own Coach newsletter, please do.
Please do.
If you jump to the website, beyourowncoach.com, it'll pop up, stick your email address in, and you will get coaching tips, tricks, anecdotes, and stories every week.
But that sounded really like you'd rehearsed it.
Can I just say, I'm going to start doing jingles.
Don't get back on the jingle thing. I'm so sorry for any listeners that listen to our first couple of episodes trying to find jingles. We've got over that, apparently. Well, I thought we had.
No, we've not. If you want to create a jingle, let us know.
And on that note, it's been lovely to catch up.
We will see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.